We're joined now by a DA National spokesperson, Cilliers Brink. Cilliers, good evening to you and thank you for your time. What did you achieve with your march today?
The objective of the march was to focus massive public and political attention on the culpability of the ANC for the energy crisis in this country, for destroying Eskom, for almost destroying the country's electricity generation ability, but also to point out how the ANC is currently standing in the way of a solution to this crisis. We, of course, also want the 18.5 or 18.6% tariff increase of electricity to be scrapped. If that was the objective, we furthered that objective today. 3,500 people marched from Mary Fitzgerald Square to the foot of Luthuli House at Library Gardens. We delivered our message. Our intention was never to hand over some memorandum to the ANC. I think our memorandum was to shake the tables and chairs that they sat on. As for the feeble threats of the ANC Youth League, I think today it showed that there are very few people who are in fact interested in defending Luthuli House. And I think that just points to how irrelevant the ANC Youth League has become.
I'm sure they'll have a different view. You may want to blame someone, you may want to blame a political party in this case for load shedding, but does that really help us get any further in solving it? To put it another way, it's one thing to blame people, where's the solution?
We can talk about all of the solutions. 6 months ago, along with the leaders of the other opposition parties, met with the president. We presented him with a set of plans of how to resolve this crisis. Many of those plans have already been committed to by the president, but not enacted. Unbundling transmission from Eskom, allowing investment in the grid so that we can plug alternative energy into the grid. All of those things have been committed, but not enacted. In fact, since that meeting and since the president's energy response plan, things have deteriorated. Andre de Ruyter has been forced out of Eskom. We have further deterioration of energy generation. None of the fundamental reforms have been implemented. So, Stephen, it is not an issue of there not being solutions. The solutions are there. It is the lack of political will to enact them. And so, as a political party, which is what we are, our job is to force the hand of government, to show them that if they do not do the things that need to be done, if they don't take responsibility for what they have done to Eskom and the country's electricity generation capacity, then they will be punished at the next election.
You're going to court on the 18% increase that was approved by NERSA. If you look at Eskom's financial situation, the chances are that you may lose that application, you and everybody else who's going to court on this. The point is, as much as it's frustrating, as much as I don't think I know anyone who can afford an 18% power price hike at this moment, isn't it true that if you look at Eskom's financial situation, if you look at what Eskom needs to do, if you look at what the country needs to do to get ourselves out of this mess, it's probably legally rational for NERSA to introduce or to implement an 18% power price hike?
Well, before we launched this application, Stephen, you would recall that the president said that he can't do anything about it. His hands are tied. And after we launched the application, he has said that it's not in the best interest of the country for the price hike to continue. So whether we win this argument on legal grounds or whether we are successful by applying pressure politically, the point is we have to do something. And let's be honest, will the municipalities that are already so indebted to Eskom, the consumers that are already so under pressure from price increases, inflation, cost of living, will the 18.6% be sustainable? And the answer is probably no. It is not going to yield more money for Eskom. It is probably going to lead to more defaults. So let's carefully assess the situation and see if there isn't a way of relieving the situation without squeezing the consumers and municipalities even further.
All of that may be true, but it doesn't strengthen your legal case. Your legal question will be, was the decision by NERSA legally rational? And if you look at the situation facing Eskom, there's no other way to get more money than to charge more for electricity.
Well, Stephen, quite frankly, I'm not arguing in a court of law. We are basing our arguments in the court on legal advice. We will pursue that avenue. If that doesn't work, we'll do something else. But the point is we have to do something. We can't just accept that these decisions will be made and that there is no other choice. There is, quite frankly, a case to be made that other measures can be taken that are far more effective at achieving what needs to be achieved here.
Like what? Like
answers, quite frankly, Stephen.
Like what, Cilliers? I mean, where else can the money come from? It either comes from the tariff or it comes from the taxpayer. Those are the only two sources of
what, Stephen? Do we just wait and let Eskom and NERSA squeeze the consumer as much as they want and then say, oh, sorry, things are so terrible, we can't find the money elsewhere? No, we are not going to do that. This needs to be reassessed. It needs to be properly considered. We've heard energy experts telling us that the ability of Eskom to actually collect these tariffs is under deep question. So, no, we're not going to accept that argument. We'll fight.
Fighting is fine. The question's about legal rationality. Where else will the money come from?
Stephen, the situation needs to be assessed. You tell me, where will the money come from consumers who are already squeezed? Businesses that are struggling under load shedding. Many of them have had to let people go, shut their doors. We are experiencing a phase of deindustrialization in this country. So you tell me, making the argument for this tariff increase, where will consumers get the money from?
Cilliers Brink, the View from the Democratic Alliance national spokesperson. Thank you.